Hello, everybody. Ready for our virtual class? We are going to review a little bit some tenses that I'm sure you have seen them before. We are going to call them narrative tenses. Let's begin. We're going to begin with the simple past. Let's remember that we are going to use these tenses for narration, and in this case, a narration in the past. Let's remember that we use this tense to talk about something in the past that is over. Let's see the example. It was 3 o'clock in the morning when the simple tense, the simple past tense is used to talk about things that happened in a period of time that is now finished. We also have some adverbs of time that marks the use of simple past, like yesterday or last, using of course different combinations like yesterday night, yesterday evening, uh, yesterday morning, yesterday at 3 o'clock, yesterday during the meeting, etc. Or last, like last year, last vacation, last Christmas, um, last weekend. All of them refer as we are talking about the past. Let's see this example. It was 3 o'clock in the morning when 4-year-old Russell Brown woke up to go to the bathroom. His parents were fast asleep in bed, but when he heard a noise in the living room and saw a light was on, he went downstairs. Now we're going to see the use of past continuous. Let's remember that we use the past continuous to describe an action that was in progress at a specific time in the past. Something was going on in a specific time in the past. Let's see the example. Tonight, Shayla and I were looking at some photographs from. Let's remember that we use the past progressive with while to talk about two actions that were in progress at the same time. And let's see the example. Jim was talking on the phone while he was driving. Two actions were going on at the same time. We use when and while with the past progressive. When mostly, but not as a whole rule, to introduce the simple past tense, and while to introduce the past progressive action. Let's see this example. Tonight, Shayla and I were looking at some photographs from my snowboarding trip with Frizz's family last year. By the end of the evening, we were laughing like crazy. Let's review a little bit the present perfect. Let's remember that the present perfect is essentially a present tense. It also expresses the effect of past action and activities on the present, the effect of these actions on the present. The present perfect means before now, but it doesn't specify when an action happened because that's not important. When we want to specify when the action happened, we are going to use the simple past because this is more specific. Let's review using this timeline. They have lived in New York for 7 years, and the action began in 2008 and it continues up to the present. It probably will continue to the future. Let's see this example. People have always traveled in two ways. There have always been explorers and there have always been vacationers. The explorer has the instinct to be the first person to see something or the last. Only explorers will tell you this, but it's a fact. There are many, many places on Earth where no one has ever been. The present perfect continuous. It's very similar to the present perfect. We use to express an activity which began in the past and continues up to the present. The situation is usually not finished and it will probably continue into the future. Let's see this example. It's been raining for days. She's been taking ballet classes since she was 4 years old. And the action began in the past, it continues up to the present. Sometimes there is no difference between the present perfect and present perfect progressive, but we are going to see a slight difference that you will notice. She has worked here for 7 years, or she has been working here for 7 years. The present perfect continues using the verbs that have the idea of a long time. For example, wait. We've been waiting for a long time. Look. They have been looking for all the information for a long time. Travel. We've been traveling for days. Play. They have been playing video games for hours. Now this is important. The present perfect use the verbs that do not have the idea of a long time. For example, find. We found a good present for you. Start. We've started the game. Die. She has died many years ago. I've had a conversation with Nick's teacher who said Nick isn't doing well, that they have been having difficulty getting his attention. Most of them have outlawed the use of cell phones in class. They feel bad about this, but believe education comes first. Let's review the past perfect. The past perfect tense is used to show that one action happened earlier in the past than another action. The past perfect tense makes clearer the order in which actions happened. Let's see the timeline. When she arrived at the party, he had gone home. Let's understand that the first action happened that he had gone home. He left the party first, and then she arrived at the party when he had gone home. The first action, he had gone home, and the second, when she arrived at the party. When she arrived at the party, he had gone home. Let's see this example. Oprah Winfrey is an amazing person. By the time she was 12, she had already decided on a career. Not long afterward, she got her first radio job. Although she hadn't had any experience, she had become a news reporter. The past perfect continues. Use the past perfect continuous to talk about an action that was in progress before a specific time in the past. The progressive emphasizes the continuation of an action, not the end result. Now let's see. First, I had been running for 4 hours and 25 minutes. This action was going on. When I crossed the finish line. First, I had been running for 4 hours and 25 minutes. Then, I crossed the finish line. And we are focusing in the continuation of the action. And the second, but it's not the end result, is when I cross the finish line. We don't we are we don't uh, we don't focus on the end result. Let's see this example. October 19. I just got back from the marathon. I'm tired but very happy. When I crossed the finish line, I had been running for 4 hours and 25 minutes. Jeremy was standing there. He had been waiting for me for the whole time. When do we use narrative tenses? We use narrative tenses when to talk or write about an event happened in the past. When we want to tell another person about an experience and we want to narrate what happened, we are going to use the narrative tenses. And we narrate from the past up to the present. Let's see this example. One strange evening. My name is Joseph. I study literature in the university. My friends and I always take a trip before the winter vacation. This year we decided to go camping on the shores of Lake Titicaca in La Paz. We never realized this was going to be the strangest experience of our lives. As always, we built a fire to eat some hot dogs, and when it began to get dark, we saw the sunset on the horizon. We had heard that it never rains during the winter in La Paz, nor in this area of the lake. A gentle wind began to blow, and some clouds in the sky were telling us that we would probably have a rainy evening party. So we prepared the tents just in case we needed them for later. From time to time, the sky was illuminated by a thunder. Suddenly, a light appeared in the sky. We thought that it was another thunder, but this time the light never disappeared from the sky. At the beginning, we thought that it was the light of the moon. We might have seen there for many hours, and the shine of the light became more intense. We tried to see what was going on in the sky, but this cloud. Later on, however, we noticed that the color of the light changed, and it seemed like it was turning because it began to change colors. We really wanted to know what that light was. Unfortunately, we might have stayed watching the lights for a long time because we woke up the next morning. I think we'll never know what really happened that night. Now is your turn. Write one on your own. Check the practice and realize what you have to do. Thanks for your attention.